So a little bit of introduction about mobile devices, types of mobile devices, so many of those, and then programming patterns of Swift. This is important. Variables are always initialized before use. Some of you do not understand what this bullet points explains. Then don't worry about it. You need to get some experience of coding. And also, this course is not teaching you how to code, but I'll assume you already had some of the experience in another language, so you can switch your coding understanding to Swift. That much I can help. Array indices are checked for out of bounds. This is typical to other languages as well. Integers are checked for overflow. This is a big problem in C languages. Therefore, there is a overflow attacks. But anyway, Swift may be okay. Optional and explicit mandatory the symbols available in Swift. When you code some something about data, the data is not really available right now on your code, right? It's not, because Swift, this iPhone apps, data so dynamic, so it can be changed. So data is not downloaded on your cell phone yet. That type of things is the normal. So your Swift may complain. Then you may say, hey, this is optional, or this is explicitly, if there is no data available, I'm okay, although it is crashed. Therefore, sometimes when you run some apps, it may be crashed. But anyway, so there is a optional ensures that nil values are handled explicitly. So there's an implicit and explicit optional values. Memory is cleaned all the time automatically, so you do not have to worry about. It's not like C. Error handling allows and controlled recovery from the unexpected failures. But at worst case, as you develop, you may encounter some of the failures and your system never moves. Then the best way is to reboot, which is not really ideal, but still that is okay, because we can reboot, right? So it is like a Tesla automobiles. We can reboot the Tesla, then Tesla runs. You can download Xcode. I posted this download site weeks ago, so you probably did that already. Okay, and then if you do not have, for any reason, then you can subscribe the Mac in Cloud. I believe no one here needs to subscribe to Mac in Cloud, but at worst case, you can do that. And the actors in this class is usually Swift and Xcode. These are the development tools, and also emulator or real device. So Apple TV, Apple Watch, or iPad, iPhones. Those who wants to, somebody may do VM VirtualBox, but Mac OS, almost you have to buy if you want to do on the VirtualBox. Xcode Playground, That's what we want to do. So this is the thing that we need to do. So if you download it, then you may have here Xcode. See on that. So launch Xcode, click. Okay. There's an Xcode. And 3 options that you can see. But right now, only one option that you can choose. Create new Xcode project. Click on it. Then on top, tabs show some of the platforms. Currently iOS. I want you to click that iOS. You can click something as you wish. But the one that we are going to work on here, iOS, not yet on app, but we are working on Swift Playground app. This is kind of app, but playground. So you need to choose iOS and Swift Playgrounds. There is others, but we're not going to use others. Okay. There's a game if you want to develop games. Semyon, your undergraduate major was a game development, game engineering. Yeah, you can do this game. But before you do anything, if you know already the Swift language, you can go ahead and work on others. Other than that, let's go with this Swift Playground app. Highlight it, click it, and then click on the next button. And then you can do the application name. So I would do my first Swift Playground 01, just playground. And then team, probably you need to somehow, I'm not sure what this would do in your case. Yeah, if you are not registered user, then probably you need to register. And then organization identifier, you name it. This is like a unext.com. Then you can do com.unext. It's a reverse way. Okay. You can create your own. javierApp.com, then com.javierApp. Okay. Are you guys okay on this screen? Somebody wants to join. Welcome, whoever that person is. Oh, Willie, see you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Willie. All right, so let's move. Click next. And then you need to choose where you want to save. I created my own other folder, directory, iOS app. I have lots of iOS apps developed so far. Nothing. No, I was trying to sell, which I developed a few years ago. Probably I need to find out some investment. But anyway, choose your location and create. Hope you can get to the points right now. On top, if you see on top, there is an emulator that you can choose. My first Swift PG, that is the project name. And then if you click on the next click smoothly, then you can see the emulator. You can choose the phone types. iPhone 14, 14 Plus, 14 Pro, 14 Pro Max. This is mine. If you want to add more, then you can click add simulations. But I can click on my iPhone 10. So make sure that you have an iPhone type that you like. By default, this Xcode gives you iPad, tablets. And this Xcode has 3 panes. Left pane, in the middle, and the right pane. Right pane, this is usually some of the libraries, utilities. You can remove this if you want by clicking, there's an icon on the upper right corner. If you click this, then it'll be removed so that you have a wider space in the middle. If you click one more, this is a toggle button. You can bring it back. And there's a lot of others. If you want to develop app, then a lot more utilities and settings available here. But right now we are working on Playground. There is no graphical views designed here. All the languages that we can practice here on this Playground, but when it comes to app development, then you need one thing that you need to add to your coding is graphical user interface. So we call that view. So you need to design view. View comes up front, and then your coding, your codes sits behind. So you need to develop your view and your codings, and then you have to link them together. If you don't link them, then they are separately. They are simply nothing. Okay, on the left-hand side, there is your project name. You can unfold it. So there are 2 things, content view and my app. There's a content view and then my app. If you click my app, then you can see, now you can see your right, that the middle pane can be divided into left and right. On the right side, there will be an emulator. Yeah, this is my iPhone 10. And then there's a small space. There's a my app. And on top, import Swift UI. So we are working on Swift UI. There are 2 types of UI, UI kit and Swift UI. Okay, keep in mind 2 types. UI kit, Swift UI. Swift UI is nothing but coding. Although you do graphical user interface, iconic drawing, you can bring one icon on certain positions and you link with others. All those things can be done when you use UI kit. So 2 different avenues. Okay, UI kit, much easier. We're going to work on UI kit. Okay. Which one? You don't use the playground? Oh, we use the playground. Oh, when you develop, then we don't use the playground. This is different different can be provided. When we develop, then we can choose either going through Swift UI or UI kit. Separate avenue for implementation. So we are not doing that yet today, and then maybe a couple of more weeks we do playgrounds, depending upon your hopefully when we come back in 2 weeks, we can go for app. Depending upon your the homework assignments accomplishment. So when I see your homework assignments, if you pretty much done, then I don't have to worry about. On top there is a menu, very on top. Click on File, New, and then there is a playground. This playground is not the same as the playground that we are now started. Click on that playground, then you can see there's a blank, only blank, and then next, you can work on both together, Swift mode and then UI kit mode, which is good. Click on next, and then same thing here. I would say I want to make this a similar name. Here, my first Swift playground. So I would say my first simply obsolete, will be obsolete, but let's say old playground. Where there's a location to save, you don't need to worry about others. Simply create. Then this is old playground. If you see old playground, which one is imported? UI kit is imported, right? Here UI kit, ours, Swift UI. Okay, for the same thing, we can play on Swift UI or UI kit. On Swift UI, you can do much closer to the app development environment. Old playground is too much away from app developments. Probably that is the reason they created Swift Playground. Swift Playground somewhere in between, but more closer to app developments. So if you play more on Playground, I mean Swift Playground, and you are closer to the iPhone apps developments. Simple older Playground, then still you have to, you may be still confused. But the language itself, Swift may be okay, but limited. So if you see this my app on Swift Playground, the first line is import Swift UI, and then there's a struct. So it runs on struct. Those who knows C language, then this is the same as the C language struct. The Swift comes from the C language, although you don't tell much the similarity right now, but this is something similar. So always start with the struct. Okay, so what is a struct? On the slide, I think I explain that. Okay, so a little bit we need to review and then come back here. Okay. This is old and obsolete Xcode playground that you generated, right? In the middle and then left-hand side, similar to that, and right-hand side here, that is memory space. So as you declare a variable, then in the memory, you can say there is some values and variables, yeah, all the values here, right? That you can tell. On the other hand, this is a Swift playground. Then this is iPad, this emulator, and then some of the codes. And on the right-hand side, there's some utilities. And then we can see some of the emulators like this. How to launch all the UIKit playground that we already followed, right? So first start with Swift playground, then on top menu, you need to choose file and new and playground. Here we go. Okay, how to play on Swift? Use a struct block of view. So this is struct, and this is your new name it. This is a given name, but you can change this if you want. Okay, this is a content view. Namely, you can tell. And then this view is a reserved word. If you want to change this, then you have to implement that class before you change it. View already implemented and provided by Swift Xcode. So you simply use it. So there is a view. Swift UI, if you play here on the playground, you can view it. It's not like print statements. The older playground, you can, if you want to test some display, then you can use print statements. But Swift UI, print statement is not allowed. Because you have to, whatever you want to say, it should be displayed on your device, emulator. Okay, some of the view needed. So view, you need to download it. No, I'm sorry, it's not downloaded. In this case, this is something. What is a type of content view? Type of content view is view. Here we have a colon. By download, I meant view is given. This is in the object-oriented programming, class is already defined. So class is available. Class called view is available. I want to make subclass. So content view is a subclass of view. Specialization. View given. Content view. Or dancing view. Or train view, whatever the view that you want to say. Okay, that they're all subclass. So I want to create my view, which is the subclass of view. So in this structure, content view is a subclass and view is superclass. In between, we have a colon. So superclass is nothing but a type. So what is the type of a content view? Then you can say view, right? When you create new type in C language or Java, even Python, then you need to create a class first. And that class will be used as a type for new variable. That's exactly that ones. So we need to do everything on the view. And then I explained here, some view, the inside of that content view body, then you can see, you create a body, variable body. Body is a subclass of some view. Some is a reserved word here. Don't ask why it's called some. It's a language, okay? So you take it and use it. On that red bullet points, some view means that the body will always be implementing the view protocol, but the concrete implementation type does not need to be known by the caller. Caller simply use it. We don't need to worry about. So it is kind of some view. And then your implementation here. So struct and class, very similar. In pure object-oriented programming, there's no struct, only class. For example, Java, only class. Python, only class available. Struct comes from C language. Historically, C prepared already some block of codings called the struct. Okay, it is like a data type, struct. So struct and class are the same in a way, those bullet points description. Both define properties to store values. Both define methods to provide functionalities. Both define subscripts to provide access to their value using subscript syntax. This is very common in object orientation. And define initializers to set up their initial states. When you create a class, then usually there is an initializer available. Or in Java, it is called the constructor. In C, it is called the init or initializer. Python also called the init, right? When you create a class, then you can define init methods. They're all the initializer or constructor or instantiation. Be extended to expand their functionalities beyond a default implementations. Once you create a class or struct, can be extended so that you can add more features to the existing class. So lots of expand and extension version available in Swift. Conform to protocols to provide the standard functionalities of the certain kinds. And class with more capabilities, of course. Class enables one class to inherit the characteristics of another. It's not the case in struct. There's no substruct. If you want to make class hierarchies, then define class so that you have a subclass and subclass. So always top down. You first create a superclass, and then you need to, based upon superclass, you can create subclass. Only specialization is available. There's no generalization in coding. Coding is not data mining, so no generalization. In other words, you create one class. Can I create a superclass of it? No. Typecasting enables you to check and interpret the types of class instance at runtime. Something that you cannot find from Java or Python, but available here in Swift, that is a deinitializer and then reference countings. Those are, as you develop in Java, for example, then you may be able to see, hey, I want to see how many references, how many instances already developed. There's no tools available. You have to memorize it. Developer knows it. But here, Swift, there's a reference counting available, which is really, really big help. De-initialize also possible. In Java, there's no initializer available all the time. Python as well, but no de-initialize. So what should we do? We need to do, because there is no print statements, write on your phone view using text. If multiple text images, then you need to use vstack or hstack. vstack or hstack. V, vertical stack, H, horizontal stack. We want to practice with this, okay? So I want to push this away. Here, a little bit here. And then we can work on nicely. Somewhere here. Great. I want to switch this a little smaller. Okay. Oh, by the way, this is not something that we need to code. Oh, yeah, you can change it if you want to. Hey, I wanna make this view of content view. Then you need to, here by default it is content view. But if you change this content view something else, then on my app you need to change it accordingly. This is given. Content view is given. If you come back here, content view, then you can see real code. Click on that content view. This is a real code. All right, here's struct content view, which is subclass of view. In the body of that content view, we have a variable body, colon, some view. Do not ask question, but copy and use it, okay? All the time when you do here, the playground, we don't do much here. You wanna, if you want to debug something, then you need to see how it appears on your iPhone. Then you need to use view. And then in your real implementation, you need to somehow, some view. I want you to understand that way, okay? So these two lines of code remains the same. And then last two lines here. Of course, if you want to change this, then on my view, you need to change that one too. And also this name should be changed. This is for that. Before I forget, if you want to, so you have here UI kit based playground. Here Swift playground. I ask you to submit your assignment, then come back here your iOS. Then my first old PG, that is UI kit based playground. You need to submit this file. And the next one is you need to submit this. What I want you to do, I want you to highlight both of those. And then control, click on button, then there's a compress. So compress both of those together and submit, okay? If you click compress, then it is automatically compressed. Watch this. Yeah, archive zip. So I want you to put here your name. JohnYun.zip. And submit that once. All right. So do not make it zip before you implement. I think I'm worrying about somebody said, oh, if I created 0 because there's a nothing, then somebody said, oh, I implemented it, but I think I made it because I make it zip people. And don't do that, okay? You have to, if you practice that way, you have to redo after you complete your work. And before you submit it, you can zip them, and submit. All right. So here is what you need to do. We need to run something based upon this code, okay? On top here, this Xcode, on top there is a triangle. If you click this, then start the emulator of my Xcode. This is a simply preview. It's not really clear. So if you click this, then you can see the emulator. It's already came up, back end. So this is emulator. Okay, there is a hello world. If you see here, there's a hello world, right? So now you may be able to see text hello world. Aha, that is that one, right? And then there is a either text or image. Okay, this is image and this is text. Text takes string. If you change this, hello Mercy, and then click this square button appears. This will stop this emulator. While emulator is running, you can restart. This is something improved. So you click this and it says replace. Hit enter. Then it is replaced. It says hello Mercy. Image. You can practice here. This is a V stack, right? V stack means vertical stack. If you choose this to H stack, horizontal, see what happens. Horizontally. Okay, so you can stack multiples on this playground. In this way, you can learn something, right? So usually on this playground, we can type something and do images. I want to switch it back to vertical because I want to say more. So text. If I want to say, for example, 2 plus 3 equals, I can put there hard code 5, but if I want to compute it the way that I make 2 plus 3, like this, and run. What happens here? 2 plus, these are all in one string, right? Text takes one string. But if I want to say the 2 plus 3 equals whatever the computation result, then 2 plus 3 equals, this is a simply string. And if you want to ask it to compute, then 2 plus 3, and then there's an escape character, backslash, and open and close parenthesis. Within, inside, whatever it is evaluated. It is computed. There's an evaluation. All right. The escape button, escape character is available in all the languages: C, Python, Java. The idea there is, if you want to use some special character, or if you want to ask, well, anything with the special, escape character means it's not anymore the string, because it is embedded in the string. There's a big string, long string. Inside there may be some escape character. Then whatever the following escape character will be evaluated. So it'll be a some of the function, or it'll be arithmetic equation, or it'll be some variable, so that the variable will be evaluated. What do you mean by variable evaluation? It means it can be, it's not anymore. If you come back here, for example, in this, and if I want to do print greeting Mercy, now UI kit, and then click on this triangle here, or bottom, there's a triangle. If you click on that, then it says a save anyway. Then it is printed. And here, hello, playground Mercy. Here, there's a playground. Print statement is a function that take multiple parameters. So first parameter is a variable, second parameter is a string. But if you want to put them in if we want to use this variable inside this string, but if you do this greeting, then it says greeting is greeting. There's a literally greeting. So it doesn't say, it is not evaluated. Greeting is a variable, but if it is inside the string, it is not evaluated. How can you make it evaluatable? Then you need to have escape. Same idea. Okay. So escape, it means the program parser parsing the string as parser parses the string. When it comes to backslash, then parser understands, hey, I want to escape. It is not anymore the string, so that I want to call my compiler to evaluate it, or interpreter to interpret it. This is that evaluation. Okay. Okay. 5-minute break. If I do too much with no break, then so clean up your mind and see how much. So we can, if you want to practice, do like this. If you want to, this globe is not, if you change, this is not just a string. Here's what I want you to practice. Click this and hit enter. And then you can make this, the comment, see how much, oops. Yeah. It is like, you see the difference? What has been changed here? Image scale, I comment only if you have image system name globe with no extended the methods here, dot image scale, dot foreground color, dot accent color. If you do not have those, then it's not colored, it's just whatever the given, right? And scale, I'm not sure this is a small globe, right? But if you add this, for example, image scale one at a time, and then run it, then only scale changed, little bigger. And then if you want to do background color, fix it. Oops. Okay. This is connected. If you do background color, then you need to have here whatever the color. I think it is okay, right? So it'll be like that. If you want to practice more, here, image. And then you can get from system name. This is something the image is provided by the system itself, which is Xcode. So if you click this, and colon, it doesn't give me the options. It should be chose something already existed, not by yours. Where can I see it? This is globes. This is system name globes, but there is no other list available. But anyway, yeah. You can get from the Google, for example, Xcode, Swift image, system name, and it may give you some of the images. Name-wise, name should be known by multiple circle fill. Let's use this. Multiple dot circle dot fill. And then practice. Looks like it is not available, right? That X mark means it is not. Maybe we can do circle. Simply circle. Yeah, circle. And then if you want to do foreground color, and on color, you can put color, colon, maybe blue. It's error. So if you can put, when I do this, it should give me some, okay, let's see. Okay, here, we need to use this. Dot and something. Okay, dot purple. Okay. So there is always some help. Then you can pick up from the options rather than we say purple quote and unquote. In this case, we need to do dot purple. Then it should work. It is purple foreground. If we want to fill it, then how should we do? Foreground. Let's see. Here, fill. No, there's no filling. Purple dot heading. Lots of options available so that you can add more and more features into it like this. But if it doesn't like, you can simply, oh, there's a background. I want a filler. Filler is not with that. Filler should be with background. I think you can play with this. Okay, so in this way you can add more and more. I believe you can also add images if you want by click here on the left corner, lower left corner. There's a plus sign. Then new files. Wait a minute. It's not new files. Cancel. New images. New folder. New file. Maybe new file. No, not this. Browse. Documents. No, not here. Okay, file. Oh, it's not like that. I'll let you know. I think we can add more images. I mean the photo images, for example. Then we can include that photo images here also. Okay, what? Second. It's my PowerPoint slide. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you can define like this, even in this case, you can say let variable 1 equals 2 and let variable 2 equals 3. Instead of this, you can do variable 1 plus variable 2 equals and variable 1 plus variable 2. So look at this text inside the text. This is one string. Okay. This string has only plus sign and equal sign. All others with the escape characters. So if we change this to 12 and 37, then it will be accordingly changed, right? So this kind of data may be from somewhere, right? We'll look at that later. Okay, so that is there's some exercises that with the text. Okay, here we can add images that I had. Very hard to see. Let me bring up something that I had. Maybe this. Is this? Branching text. Okay, here, text images. Probably this is. Yeah. We can include the asset. When you click this, I think you can use add files, right? And then you can do, if I say here, rather than text image system name. Okay. So instead of this, the given images, you can bring up your own image here. Click on add files to my project, right? You can click the bottom ones, add files to whatever the project name that I am currently working on. If you click this, then you can bring other images from outside. So I can get, for example, where can I have my images? I think I have my images somewhere. No, not iOS. Okay, these are the images. So I can bring I do not know what kind of. Let's say this. Okay, this is the image, right? So add that image Then you can have here asset. Asset is newly created. If you click asset, then you can see that file. This is the file. What you need to do here is you need to rename it. Let's say post, enter. Okay. You name it, simple name, post, and come back here. And then you can say image. And I think this is image. And here you can do simply that name, post that you named. Okay. Asset, you name it, post. So here you can say posted. There's no error. If you click this, oh, this is too big. This image came up. So we have to resize this. Too big. File size is too big. So resizable. Still too big. What did I do? I used here resizable and scaled to fit. Yeah, I did scaled to fit. Resizable, and then I can do still do, and then resizable. Let's see, scale, okay, scaled to fit. I can click this. Scaled to fit. If I want to smaller. You need to find out what this scale to fit can, if this can, oh, there's a width. Scale to fit with, probably this is the ones. Scale to fit with. This already, the width is the, but I want to change its real name. But anyway, in this way, you can try. If you click here something dot, then you can some of the options that you can fix the size. Yeah, if you do fix the size, you can make it. Not all of this that you need to know before you practice it. As you practice, you can learn more. The more practice, the more knowledge that you or skills that you would have. Okay. Let's move further. That's what we had. Okay, conditional branching statement is also possible. For example, if we have some of the sales tax tables, so depending upon the city and depending upon the kinds of the item that you buy, and then depending upon the price, the different tax, sales tax may be applied. For example, if you purchase clothings, the value tagged price lower than $100 at Manhattan, then sales tax 0. Over 199%. Electronics at Manhattan 11%, but same electronics at White Plains 10%, and something like that. You can make a coding, Swift coding, in 2 ways: nested statement or flat statements, right? If it is a nested statements, then it'll be like this. You can make a function, tax rate calc. Right now, you do not know what this is. Underscore city, 2 names, colon, 2 variables actually, 2 variables, colon, and then type. First variable underscore means you do not need to use when this tax rate calc is called. What that means here is that this is a function, right? This is a function. Function defined, and that function is called inside this text. Oops. And you can say tax rate calc, this is tax rate calc. You simply put Manhattan. There's no type, Manhattan. If you want to make a, hey, I want to do city Manhattan. When you call some function, you probably saw that type of formats. Not only the value is passing, but some of the indicator as well. So Manhattan is not the value Manhattan, but it is the city name Manhattan. If you want to do that, then you need to put here, instead of underscore, you need to say something here. If you do not want to do it, but like many other function calls, if we want to pass value itself, so 3 values, right? Manhattan, clothing, 101.99, the price. Then your function, as that function is defined, you should say here underscore, underscore, and underscore. Exact these things was not here. Not here, but if you see a textbook clearly explains that. Let's bring up textbook, because you guys have that textbook, right? Nested. Yeah, here. Oh yeah, here. This is the textbook. Chapter. There's a function. Okay, here. This is very, very important. Function signatures. When you create a function, say language. Language is a function. What language? It has two parameters. Okay, the parameter variables. The first parameter, the variable no needed when this language is called, but internally, 2 variable means first variable is to be used when that function is called. Second variable is just a local variable. So when you implement that function, the implementation use that variable. I think you may be confused at this moment because probably first time this type of a function. Usually, many other languages doesn't discriminate the variable used in function parameter in two ways. So variable that can be used when that function is called, and variable that can be used when that function is implemented. So clearly you can see that way. First variable internally called the name, and then when it is called, you don't need to specify it. Second variables internally is called execute, and when this function is called, you need to say compile colon and some values. So if you see here, the function calls language open, and then first parameter, you simply send the value itself, swift, because when this function is defined, it is set so in the signature. So you simply say swift. But second parameter, you should say compile. This is the arguments to be used when the function is called. So you should say compile. Xcode is nothing but the variable. Xcode is the value for the variable compile. Okay. This is it that way. So function that is here, right? Yeah. You can practice these guys in those different cases. Say, in the third parameter, you can say charge space price colon float. Floating is a type of that, right? So two variables declared in this function. If we say charge, then when this function is called, instead of simply 101.99, you should say here charge colon 101.99. You should call with that caller arguments. So many different ways that that you can find out. So this is for that. Branching statements. And you can redo this in the old fashion ways. That's available on this textbook. If you see this textbooks iteration, yeah, this is the code, right? So old fashions. So nested if format, and this is flat format. Two types of statements. This is language itself. It's not using Swift view. If we want to use a Swift views, I think it is, did I add it here? Yeah, I added it here. This is that one's. Yeah, exactly. So it emulated. So and also there is a parameter called the in-out. Use this in-out often. What this in-out keyword means, once same variables, let's suppose a variable has a value. So you want to send this value to some functions. So inside that function, that value may be updated. Unless that value returned back, and unless I adjustment, then my value is not affected by the value inside the function. But if you want to synchronize my local value with the value inside that function execution, then you can use that in-out keyword. In-out keyword will be used. See here. Yeah, this is it. Two variables, and then the type string. Before you do type, you can say in-out. Okay, it's not in-out hamburger, but this is the in-out anyway. Okay, so what it means is that the variables that is inside the function should be the same as the variable outside. So in and out should be synchronized. This is new, right? But this kind of function skills, function techniques has been available in C language, right? So you have it's called I think some of the reference ampersand sign reference symbols. When you pass some values to the function, you can say, hey, you function, you need to work on my value, rather than you copy my value and cook whatever the values that you want to, you cook it and that's yours. That is other types of the languages, right? But some rare cases, you may need to synchronize your value with the value that is currently handled by the function itself. Then you need to do in-out indicator. Okay. I think this is important, helpful for you to do your homework assignments. Here we have some of the background colors. This you need to create. Oh, this is something I already explained this. This is called my app. This is a content view, right? But I changed it to my struct. It's not anybody, it is for loop view. If you use a for loop view, then you need to use a for loop view here, right? Only this change here in this my app. And instead, this for loop views, I declared the constant called the array of colors. Okay, so I put dot red, dot green. These are colors, right? And in the body, as some view, I have scroll view. like HView, H stack or V stack. I want to scroll it so that when I scroll this horizontally, it should work. If you want to make it horizontally, then you need to have a dot horizontal. For vertical scrolling, you don't need to save. So by default, that is a vertical scrolling. But if you want to make it a horizontal scrolling, then you need to say dot horizontal. So everything under this that is scrollable. What can be scrollable? That is on this stacks. So horizontal stacks. On that horizontal stacks, we have text. But this text is created by for loop. Okay, I do not know how many text that we could have, but it could be created that many. It can be done by this random number generator. Integer dot random. I give int. Remember here, this is random is a function. When I call this function, I use the variable name in. Okay. Not just simply the passing values, but I have another descriptor here, the variable. So in colon followed by the variable. This is variable really worked for that random number generator. What it does is that a random number generated, random integer is generated from between 13 and 39, but 39 is exclusive. Another random number based upon the first random number. Once first random number is generated, which is a low number, so from that low number, I want to get the random number 2 above it. So I would have some random number, upper random number and lower random numbers. With those two random numbers, I can do a for loop for each in this range, low random number and upper random number. So when, for example, if it is a 2 to 10, then we have first about 2, and then about 3, about 4, about 5. So some iteration takes place here. So what it does is that in the for each statements, there is the open curly brace and then variable in. I is a variable, in is a reserved word, and whatever the follows after that, you can after this your code. You can make it one text, or you can make a multiple of those. You can put here another stack, for example, vertical stack. After in, I in V stack, open curly brace. Within the curly brace, you may have many others text. So in this case, we make text. This text is applied by this horizontal stack, and this stack, this text has this I is a variable, so get that number and colon, and we have a padding and background color, and color is generated. Background color is generated from this array. Colors is an array of color. I want to say, I want to choose this color based upon this random number I. Given that random number, I want to divide by 7. here percent sign, which means I want to use the remainder from that division. So remainder is less than 7, but greater than 0. What that means is that this array, first number is indexed by 0, second number is indexed by, second color is indexed by 1, third color is indexed by 2, 4, 5, 6, 0, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe in this case, the indigo color never been used. If there's 8 numbers, then you need to say here, I% and number 8. So randomly, that is generated and color it. Okay. This is for each loop.